Hi everyone, this is another topical issue on what God can do. It happened in the past, many years before the birth of Christ. There was a kingdom called the ETRASCAN kingdom in Italy. That is when the Romans were getting there to form the city of Rome, which eventually went to be a world leading kingdom, ruler, government. I'm going to talk about an Etruscan king called Servius Tullius. Many of the things that we enjoy now were things that were started by him when he enacted a constitution called the Servius Constitution. Servius divided the people into units, which he called tribes. Today we call people from other places tribes. That one was started by Servius. Servius also had small units, which he called pagas, and divisions, which were under a magister pagi, and they had their own sacred rites. So I don't know, maybe that is where we got the word pagan, because when people of different rites worshipping, the pagas had their own rights. He's the same man who came up with census. By then, people in the village, people never used to talk about the numbers. It was a taboo to count the people. But he wanted to know the number of men, so that when people are attacked, they could be able to give some men to go to war. And then managing of taxes. So he came up with census. The first census and the establishment of census was done by Servius Tullius. Servius Tullius organized men from different villages to fight. They would donate men to fight when an enemy comes, and then after the war, the whole unit was disbanded. People will come with their own weapons. Later, he organized so that the men were organized in units. And these units, he gave them the name legions. And within the legions, a warrior was called a legionnaire. So when we talk of legions and legionnaires, we are talking of this man, Servius. He gave property rights. And many of those things have come down to us. We're using them on a day-to-day basis. But it's because of that knowledge that Servius Tullius and the rules that he put there and the constitution that he put there, that we happen to be living under those things in today's democracies. We do census. We have tribes where we are. We have municipalities, like these, those who are the pagas and whatever. And later, when there was an emergency, the people in an area would raise a legion or legions quickly, and then enact a leader who was to lead them to fight. For that time, he would be a leader for about a year. He was given absolute power, and they called him a dictator. So many of the things that we're having in the present systems began during the times of the Etruscans. And a person who takes most of the credit is Servius Tullius. the sixth king and founder of the Serbia's constitution from 578 to 350 to 578 to 535 BC. So this brings us to this, that there are people who God empowers. He gives certain knowledge that will be useful for people for a long time, because that was before the Roman kingdom was formed. Up to now, we are still doing those, using census, doing all the forming units in the army, battalions and whatever. It all came up from that. That is all about the Etruscans and Servius Tullius.